Welcome back again to my channel. Please, if you are new on this channel, thank you so much for stopping by, and you are also welcome. Today we are going to be making this beautiful long gown with bracelet darts and ruffles cape. As you watch, don't forget to subscribe, like and share this video. So without wasting much of our time, let's get into the video. I'm making use of 2 yards of crepe fabric. This one is not the one that is so stretchy, it's a bit stretchy. Okay, then this is 1.5 yard of Mikado, but I'm not going to be using everything. I'll use 1 yard and quarter. Okay, so I will start by folding my crepe fabric into 4. I will use the highest measurement, which is the hip measurement. It's a long gown, so the hip measurement I'm using is 48 divided by 4 is 12 inches. So I'll go ahead and fold it to like this. I'll fold it again. I'll make sure I have about 1 inch at the edge here. That will serve for our zip allowance. Arrange it well. Then I'll use my pin to hold it in place so that it will not be shifting. Remember, I left some space here. From here, I'll be taking my zip allowance. Okay. I'll go ahead and mark 2 inches downward. And this will serve as my starting line. And I will join it with my straight ruler. So from this starting line, I will measure my vertical measurement, and I'm moving 5.5 inches. It's an off shoulder. The cape is going to form our sleeve. Okay, so I'm moving 5.5 inches. Then I'll go ahead and mark my chest line. I'll mark my chest line. From that point, I'll also mark my waistline. I'll mark my hip line. So as I'm marking, I'm going to be joining these lines with my straight ruler. Okay. So I'm shifting the fabric upward so that my camera can capture the down part. Then from the hip line, I took my hip line at 26 inches. From there, I'll mark my knee length, which is 2 inches above my knee. I'm not marking exactly at my knee length, okay? So I'll take my full measurement. My full measurement is 61 inches, and my tape is 60 inches. So I'll add extra 1 inch. So this is my full measurement. Then I'll go ahead and add 1.5 inch for hemming allowance, okay? So I'm following these points to draw a line across. Okay. Then I'll proceed by marking my circumference measurements. And this is my zip allowance for the back. I'll go ahead and mark 1 inch all through down for my zipper allowance. So I'm marking and connecting. I mark 1 inch all through down. This is the chest line, the waist, hip line. Okay. This is the knee length, waistline, hip line, the knee length, and the full length. I'll mark my shoulder divided by 2, but I'll remove 2 inches from my shoulder divided by 2. And wherever I get, I'll mark it here. Okay. Then at the chest line, I'll mark my bust measurement divided by 4. I'm starting from this front edge here. Now this is tape allowance for the back. So I'm starting from the front one. So I'll take my bust measurement divided by 4. And I'll add 2 inches for seam allowance. Okay. And I'll go ahead to connect with my curve ruler for my armhole. Sorry, I connected to the seam allowance, and that is not the proper way. So just connect to your bust circumference divided by 4 from the chest line. Okay. So this one is not okay. This is the one we are using. I was distracted by somebody. That was why. So next I'll move on to my waistline. I'll mark my waist circumference divided by 4.
So guys, at this waistline, we are going to be taking our darts. So I'll add extra 1 inch for the darts. Then go ahead and add 2 inches for seam allowance as well, okay?
Now I'll move over to the hip line. Mark my hip circumference divided by 4, which is 12 inches. And I'll add 2 inches for seam allowance. Then we'll get to the alignment. Whatever I mark at the hip line, I will remove this 14 inches. Then I'll remove 1 inch and mark it here at the knee length. So I'm marking 13 inches at the knee length. Okay. And whatever I have at the knee length, I will remove half inch again and mark at the full length. So 13 inches, I'll remove half inch, remaining 12 and a half inches. So I'm marking 12 and a half inches at this point. Mark the same thing at the hem part. So I'll connect the points like so. Then the knee to the hip, I'll use my cuff ruler. I'll put it this way, you see. Then I'll go ahead and connect it. You know our hip has a curve, so I'll connect it like so. Then from the waist to the hip, the curve will be this way. I'll use my curve ruler to connect it this way. Okay. From the waist to the chest line, I'll use the straight part of the ruler to connect it like so. See. Okay. Now go ahead to take my darts. So for the dart, I'm going to mark my bust palm. Bust palm is a nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2. So I'm marking it at this waistline. Divide your nipple to nipple measurement by 2. Mark it here. Okay. Then come up 2 inches from the hip line. I'll come up 2 inches. But because I'm not going to cut it through all through down, I'm going to cut it from here to the armhole because it's going to be a princess dart. So I'm going to come up extra half inch. I'll stop at this half inch so that while I'm joining it, it will end up stopping at the 2 inches of the hip line. You understand what I mean? So I'm going to draw a line across here to show that that is where my dart is going to stop. And I'll mark the same thing I mark here. I'll mark it also at this point. Okay. So I'll join it. Then from the waistline, I'll come up about 6 inches upwards. Or you can measure your bust point from the waistline. This is my chest line, Abby. So let me just measure my bust point, 11.5 inches. Okay. Then at this bust point, I will take my nipple to nipple measurement as well. I'll mark it here. Okay. Then I'll go ahead and join this as well. I'll join it. Then from here, I will, you see, this is the armhole, about 6 inches. I'll come down 2.5 inches from the chest line. I'll mark 2.5 inches from the chest line. Then I'll connect it to the bust point. Then when I'm sewing it, at this waistline, I'll come in 1/2 inch. That will be my dart. I'll sew it to this 2.5 inches of the hip line. Okay, so I'm joining it this way. That's why I added extra 1/2 inch, so that by the time you join it finish, it will stop at least 2 inches. So I'll connect my dart. This dart is both for front and the back. Then I'll go ahead and connect the front one to 1 inch below my bust point. 1 inch below the bust point. I'll connect the front one to this point. Okay, so this is the dart. When I'm cutting it, I'll make sure to notch this point and notch the hip line. I will notch the waistline. I will notch the 2.5 inches above my hip line, and I will notch the knee. Okay, so that it will be easy while sewing the dart and while joining it. So before cutting it, I will come up 1.5 inches here. That is what I'll use to hem the upper part. Okay, I'll use 1.5 inches to hem the upper part. So I'm going to be adding it here. Okay, and I'll still add 1 inch to hem the armhole. So add 1 inch all through. So this is for hemming the armhole. So that at the waistline for the back part, to eliminate the zipper bush, I'll go in by 1/2 inch and I'll connect it back to the chest line and back to this point. These 2.5 inches above the hip line. Okay. Then I'll go ahead and cut our measurement. I'll go ahead and cut the zipper allowance.
Guys, please subscribe to my channel, turn on your notification bell so that you be notified whenever I made a new video. Okay, like and share as well as we continue.
Then I'll go ahead and cut the armhole. I will not share. Go ahead and cut this side as well. Notch this point. Go ahead and notch this point as well. Okay. I also notch the waistline. The back is not going to carry princess darts. It's only the front that will carry this princess darts. Okay. So I'll go ahead and pick this up on top. I'll carry it up like so, and I'll open it up.
That's why the front will be princess dart, the back dart will be straight. It's not going to be a princess dart, okay?
I'm going to stop at this point, okay? So that by the time I join it, end up stopping at this 2 inches above my hip line. So I'll go ahead and remove the front, and I'll mark my waist. I'll mark the points, the waist point. I'll mark it across like so. Okay. So guys, I'll measure what I have on here, these points, and I'll go ahead and mark the same for the back side. Okay. And I'll turn this one and mark it as well at this side, so that when we are sewing the darts, it will be easy. You will not have to be doing any form of adjustments. Mark it here as well. Okay. I also draw this line. I'll bring this one down. Then I'll take half inch. Take half inch out here. Half inch out here. And join it to this point. Like we did for the front one. So this is the back dart. Then I'll mark 6 inches upwards. 6 inches upwards, okay? Then I'll connect this as well. And I'll connect this half inch like so. I'll do the same thing to the back part, but I'll do that one off the screen. Okay. Then when I'm done with that, I'll go ahead and fold this one. With that 1 inch and that one that I left here, I will fold this in so that it will have a neat finishing. Okay. I'll do the same thing to the other side, and I'll fold this upper part with 1.5 inches and that one that I left. Okay. I'll fold it. I hope you understand. Now fold it in. Then I'll go ahead and sew my darts. Sew the darts, both the front and the back. Okay. And I will use 1 inch to join the zipper part. Later I'll now put my zip. So I'll do this off the screen. And when I'm done, I'll come and show you the next step we are going to be taking. Okay. So guys, at this point, if you have not subscribed to my channel, please don't hesitate to do so. Subscribe, like and share, and drop your comments. Give this video a thumbs up as we continue. Okay. So I'll go ahead and sew the darts, hem the armhole and the shoulder part. Okay. I'll also join my seam with the allowance that I left. Then I will come back to show you the next step we are going to be taking. So guys, I've gone ahead to sew the darts. This is the darts, the princess dart for the front part. I also sew the darts for the back. Also inserted my zipper. I've as well joined the front and the back with my allowance. Okay. And I'm gone ahead to hem the down part as well. So what we do next now? The next thing to do is to complete our shoulder measurements. You measure the round shoulder of the customer, okay? So whatever you get, you will deduct it from what you already have here. You understand? So this is the shoulder for the front, 15.2. That's what we have here. Measure the one for the back as well. So when you add the front and the back, you deduct it from the round shoulder and complete it with a strap that you can use it as the sleeve, but it's going to be a small piece like this. So I've measured my own round shoulder and I've deducted what I have here. So the remaining is what I've cut here now. I need about 16 inches to complete my round shoulder. So my piece is 9.5 inches, okay? So it's 9.5 inches. I'll use half inch to join this part. I'll use half inch to join here. Then use half inch to join it also to the um to our sleeve. I'll use half inch to join it to the armhole to complete our round shoulder, okay? So let me use my pin for demonstration purpose. So after stitching this with half inch, the width of this sleeve is 3 inches. You can use any width of your choice. You can use 2 inches, you can use 4 inches, depending on what you want. So I'll go ahead and stitch it a bit here, stitch down, then stitch here with half inch and turn it out. After turning it, I will now come and attach it to my armhole like so. I'll attach it here with half inch. I will also attach to the back side. I'll attach it here as well with half inch. Okay, just to complete our round shoulder so that we can be able to cut the ruffles. So I'm demonstrating what I'm going to be doing here because I will attach it on the screen. Remember, I will first join here with half inch. So here, turn it to the other side. I can leave small opening here that I'll use to turn it. Then after turning it, I'll join it at this armhole area. And I'll join it to the back side as well. Okay. So with that, my round strip will be complete. So I'll go ahead and measure to be sure that is up to my round shoulder. So I'll measure it. This is 23 and a half and my round shoulder is 47 inches. You see that it's going to be okay, Abby. So the next to do now, I will measure it round from this zip because the ruffles is not going to cross the zip. So I'll measure from here all round. Okay. I'll measure it till I come back to this sleeve side. Okay. What I have here is 45.5 inches. Okay. Remember I started from here and I'll stop at this zipper side. So I have 45.5 inches. So I'll go ahead and cut a strap of length 45.5. Okay. I'm going to be sewing it to the ruffles with half inch. So I'll add extra 1 inch to it. I'll add extra 1 inch. Okay. And I'm going to be making the width of this strap to be 4 inches. 4 inches is okay. I'll make the width to be 4 inches. It's okay. So I'll mark 4 inches all through and cut it out. Okay. This is the strap we're going to be making use of. Okay. Then we'll go ahead to cut our ruffles. As I said, I'm using this Mikado fabric. This is 1.5 years, but I'm not going to make use of everything, okay, because it's going to be too long. So I'm going to be using 1 yard and water, okay. So what I'll do now, I'll divide it into three. You know, it's 1.5 years. So I'm going to be dividing into half years, okay. So guys, I've succeeded in dividing it into three. Okay, I divided it into three. Then I will share this one again into two. I want the ruffles to be very full, but you can use 1 yard. 1 yard is still okay, depending on your round shoulder measurement and how full that you want it to be. So you are free to use 1 yard of Mikado or any fabric that you want to use, apart from light fabric. So you have to use the one that is very strong. Okay. If you're using something like organza or net, then you are going to be making use of about 6 or 7 years of it because it's very light, so that it will be full and it will not be too transparent. Okay, so I'll go ahead and join it with 1/2 inch and join the other one I added. The other half, I'll join it as well. So after joining it, it's going to be very long, as you can see. So I will now go ahead and stitch it with 1/2 inch from here. I'll stitch it all through down. So guys, at this point, let me go and stitch it. Then I'll come back to show you what I'm going to be doing next. Okay. So guys, I've joined the material that I'm using for the ruffles. You can see what we have. A very long material now. It's very long now. So I'll use this my base, the base for the cape. I'll go ahead and attach it to this. I'll attach it here. I'll go ahead to stitch the base to this part. Okay. So I'll turn it to the front. As you're turning it over, hold this one very firm so that you will not disappear inside. I'll put my hand and I'll turn it. Then, so I'll pull it out. Like so. If you're seeing what I'm doing, I'll pull it out and hold this one instead. Hold it very firm. So when I've done it over, I will stitch it here. Then I'll go ahead, fold it inwards like so. Fold this place. Okay. To hide these rough edges. That is why I'm folding it. Start folding it inwards like so. Okay. Then I'll go and top stitch on it. Okay. Then I will now pick my main gown. Then I'll take the gown. So this is the zipper area. Replace it. And I'll use my needle. I'll use my needle to sew it all around. So by the time I pin it down, I'll now be picking it. I'll be picking it to have that ruffles effect. Okay. When I pick, I'll tag it with the needle until I get back to the other side of the zipper. Okay, till I come back to this side. So I hope you try it I hope you try your own and you'll get it right. Okay. So guys, I've taken my time to attach the raw fruits to the shoulder. Look at how I did it. I started from 1 inch after the zipper. Okay. So you really need to take your time to gather this. So I went ahead to pack it, then gather a bit and use my needle to pack it. I continued to do so until I went round the shoulder. Okay, you can see it. So this is how it came out. Okay, this is the inside of it. Okay, so guys, we have come to the end of this tutorial. If this video is helpful, don't forget to subscribe, like and share. Follow me for more. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you try your own and get a perfect result and see what you got. See how full it is. If you don't want your own to be as full as mine, you can make use of 1 yard of this Mikado fabric. Okay, so I'll go ahead and give it a good press. So that is it. Thank you so much for watching. See you in my next video. Bye bye.